from, or I've spoken to you guys in the past about what, the kind of things that are coming up, and performance anxiety is definitely one that we all experience. Dealing with the pressure of competition, like actually on match day, and the self-doubt that comes up. And then also it's the being able to perform, great in practice, all goes well in practice, but then as soon as it comes to match day, anxiety kicks in, self-doubt kicks in, all the different things, whatever your sport, however it shows up for you. But it's very different on match day to what it is on in practice. So we'll be covering those things and what you can do about that. But we'll go through the importance of mental training, which I know that I'm sure that you know, because obviously you guys follow me and are on my email list. But just to reiterate, because none of us, or rarely do we do any when we're learning our sport or growing up, why we feel the performance anxiety and the self-doubt, and why it's so hard to combat and talk our way out of it, but what you can do to overcome it instead, and all the other kind of mental game issues that come up for us, and how you can get started on that. And then if anyone wants to take it further, and actually work with me, that's great, but I'll put that at the end, and if you want to listen, you can. If not, totally understand, that's absolutely fine. This is to help you, and obviously I'll make an offer at the end, but this isn't a sales pitch throughout the entire thing, so do not worry. But just some of you might want to take it further, because it's sometimes easier with a coach. So alrighty, so I've got my notes here to make sure I don't go off track, because I do like to talk. And let me just put the chat there so I can see it as well. Alrighty, and I'm afraid my slides that I had, tech issues, they didn't come anyway, they're not available, so I'm afraid you just have me to look at. But do get a pen and paper as well, make any notes that you want, because hopefully this will be really useful. Okay, so let's go straight in. So this, why is the mental game so important, and why do we feel these feelings of anxiety, feel the pressure, underperforming on match day, especially when we've got a tournament coming up or a big game coming up? Because naturally, we're all competitive athletes here, whatever our sport, we all want to win. We want to play our best. We don't want to let our teammates down, coaches, parents. We put all this work in, put all this technical training in, all those hours out there on the pitch, getting coached, all that time, effort, money, on the practice courts, on the pitch, on the snooker table, whatever your sport is. We've had the coaching, to really hone our skills. We put so much effort and emphasis on getting our technical skills right. We're really finely tuned and highly capable at our particular skill, whatever it is. Plus we've done all the physical training, whether it, that's in the gym, bulking up, getting to the right weight, being fit for our sport, eating the right foods, making sure we've got enough sleep, all the things. So we make the sacrifices, we do all the work on the physical, the technical, the tactical as well. How to play to our strengths, exposing our opponent's weaknesses, how does that relay as a team, or are we on our own out there? But it's, we've done the tactical work, we've done tactical, the physical, technical, yet we rarely do the mental. And I know that we try, and often our coaches help, and that they do help. They tell us that they've obviously got the experience of coaching, we've got the experience of performing, so we can work on our mental skills. But actually, it's kind of what underpins everything. Because if we're not feeling confident, if we don't have the self-belief, we can be as skilled as anyone. We could be the most technical player out there, be the fittest, the strongest, the fastest, whatever it is. But if we don't believe in ourselves, or we're, not feeling great that day, we underperform. Or when we're anxious, that, which I'll come on to more specifically in a minute, that completely takes over. Yet we give the mental game, so little attention when we're growing up. When we're learning our sport as a junior, whatever. sport that is, elements of it, but it's not given the importance it deserves. In fact, the FA, the Football Association, do a brilliant four-corner model. Well, and obviously it's supposed to resemble the pitch. And what makes the complete player is the technicals in one corner, tacticals in another, physicals in another, and mental and social is in another. Because obviously, if you're in a team sport, it's not just your own mentality, but it's that of the team. How do you all gel together? Is there team cohesion? Have you got each other's backs? And that brings its own competition. Obviously, if you're all vying for each other's places as well. So the internal, wanting to be the best, not wanting obviously a player to be injured, but actually if that player who's in your position is injured, it gives you the chance to step in. So it's managing all those sort of aspects of it as well. And then there's a great sports psychologist, Dan Abraham, who actually, he says he takes it one further and does put the mental aspects beneath it, because actually then you build on. If you're not feeling great that day, you're not going to put the effort in at the gym. You're not going, you're not focused enough. You're not doing the stuff. You're not going to get a good night's sleep. So actually, that's really the most important aspect of it. And obviously, I'm slightly biased being a mental performance coach, but and I'm not saying don't do the technical stuff, obviously, but it's it's all together. And whether it's the FA four-corner model, you can apply it to any sport. So hopefully this is all making sense so far. So let me just check my notes here to make sure I'm not going too far off track. Okay, yeah. So when you do the mental game work, you go out there confidently, you go out there full of the self-belief, and it's regardless of the score, even if you're losing, even if you're having a terrible game, terrible match, whatever it is, regardless if you're playing the team top in the league or the opponent who's in theory much better than you, you still go out there full of self-belief. This is when you do the mental game work, this is what you can get, instead of kind of leaving the confidence to chance and like, oh, appears to be playing quite well today. Yeah, maybe I'm in with a chance today. Whatever sport it is, whatever is playing. And obviously there's an element of that, but actually you don't want to leave it to chance. You want to play with confidence, want to play with that self-belief, that negative chatter that can come into our head when we make a mistake. You want to be able to block that out, shut that down, ideally so it doesn't even appear in the first place. And then when you do shut that down, when you do have that mental edge, as it were, you're able to play freely, easily. Yes, you feel the excitement and anticipation. And so you do get butterflies, you get nerves or jitters, but they're not bad. Like, you want that extra, you want to be pumped up, you want to be fired up. And in fact, judging by both your sports today, you definitely need, do you know what I mean? You need that extra, aggression, that extra oomph. You don't want to be, oh, this is nice. I mean, you want to be pumped up and fired up, but it wants to come from a place of excitement, not fear-based, like, oh, what if I perform badly? What if I lose? What if, all the what ifs, and I haven't trained hard enough, and those sort of anxiety, fear-based nerves we don't want. But the excitement, like, right, this is my chance. Oh my God, yeah, they're better than me. They're a better team now. We've got nothing to lose. What have I got to lose? This is my moment. So this is kind of the excitement that we want to feel, and this is where we don't want to completely get rid of. It's getting the balance right: anxiety, excitement. Getting that balance right. And then when you have that excitement and anticipation, you're the one who steps up. You want to take that, that penalty, that last kick of the game. You're the one that can step up in that moment, because you haven't got the nerves, the dread, and then the physical manifestation of that as well, which, the heavy arms, the heavy feet, the rabbit in a headlight, not being able to perform as you normally can, and that you can in practice. So, any questions so far? Do pop them in the chat, or give us another thumbs up if this is all making sense. Otherwise, I'll just keep going. Nice one. Excellent. So, brilliant. We've got the so it's kind of the underlying principles of why and how of why we want to do the mental game. However, the problem is this is as competitive athletes, we want to win. Okay. We've put all this work in, we've spent a lot of time, effort, sacrifice, money, all the things, energy. And despite, so this is where the anxiety comes in, because despite loving the sport and wanting to compete, we put, for whatever reason, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, because we don't want to lose. We don't want to, what will that mean? That fear of failure, even that fear of success. What will happen if we lose? What will that mean? Will we lose our space on the team? Will we feel embarrassed? Especially, if we're playing somebody higher than us, who in theory should win, and we go and lose, it's like, oh God, what does that mean? Well, I'm really rubbish. I shouldn't be out there. We get the imposter syndrome, or I knew I hadn't done enough training. We get that, see, I told you you shouldn't have bothered. We get that negative chatter that once it starts, is really hard to stop. And this is because our fight or flight response has kicked in. Now, our fight or flight response is totally subconscious. And it's there for our instincts, our survival. So this upcoming match, tournament, game, playing a particular opponent, upcoming season, whatever it actually is that you've got coming up, is causing some stress because of this fear of failure, this fear of success, this want to win. Like, we play at a high level, we want to win. So unfortunately, though, when the stress response, we have this perceived fear, whether it's a match, game, tournament, whatever it is, oncoming bus, unpaid bill, argument with our partner, whatever it is, parents, something that's going on, it causes the stress response, that fight or flight response. And it's totally subconscious. I mean, sometimes we know why it's causing us stress, but actually, it can be really hard to stop. So we see the stressor. So let's just go with an upcoming match. See the stressor. We see the fear, like, oh my God, this is my chance to win, shine, prove myself, show that, I've been working putting all this effort and it's about to pay off. Or maybe it's, stepping up to the next level. I want to play for the first team. We'll get promotion, or we don't want to get demoted, whatever it is. Our brain perceives the stressor. It sends a cascade of hormones, stress hormones, i.e. cortisol and adrenaline, which go flooding through our body, which leads to our heart pumping faster. All the blood then goes to our arms and legs, which is why, we can either, we want it to go to our arms and legs because we're getting ready for that fight or flight response, because we want that. We want to run faster. We want to jump high. We want to jump out of the way of that bus. They can't tell the difference between an upcoming match and the oncoming bus. Our digestion shuts down. Maybe, we get those butterflies, and either we can't eat before a game, which, we need to, whatever your sport, at some stage, you're going to need to be fueling up, or we overeat, we can't stop eating the sugar because our body says we need some sugar to deal with, we need the energy. Okay. So we keep our stress response keeps going. We either can't eat or we do eat, but it's mainly the sugar. Our rational thinking shuts down. Now isn't the time to think. Not when we're this stressed. We just need to do. So we could be like the rabbit in the headlights, like what now? So we do freeze. We don't step up. We do underplay. We hide. We don't do what we're supposed to. We know we can do that, like we can in training, in practice. It doesn't translate to the match day because we've got this fear, this stress response kicking in. And our negative chatter goes into overdrive. And this is where it gets a bit backward, because it's, well, no, don't do that, you can't do that. Or the self-doubt, should I do this, should I do that? Which in our sport, we haven't got time often for we need to react quickly. We don't want to be, talking ourselves down or questioning ourselves. We just want to be able to do it and make a smart choice, yeah, we've practiced, we know what the smart choice is, we know what the right move is, but to be able to do that in match day without the self-doubt, without that negative chatter. And then quite often what happens when we're feeling this anxiety, the harder we then try, like, oh, just relax, calm down, breathe, take deep breaths. And then this just comes, well, it might work for a bit, which is great, depending on where you are and your level of being able to do that. But ultimately, it often makes us even worse, because then we get frustrated with ourselves for not being able to just relax. Like, but our brain doesn't work like that. Upcoming match, oncoming bus. Now's not a time to relax. Even, it's not going to just relax. Or maybe for a moment, but then the next stressor comes along, that oncoming, defender or attacker or punch, or, whatever it is, whatever sport it is you play. So does this sound familiar? To either of you, is this making sense still? I should have got myself a glass of water beforehand. Okay.
Yeah, definitely sounds familiar. I thought I'd just say that. I take long to type.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's good. No, absolutely. And it's yeah, whatever our sport it is, it's really, really hard. And then it's we can't talk ourselves down. My dog's about to go crazy, by the way. If he starts barking, I think the postman's here. Okay. So there are a few things here. So imagine an iceberg. Okay. So the tip of the iceberg is what's above the water. Okay. And this is our conscious mind. So this is the bit where the conscious mind is, well, I know that I can do this in practice. I did this 100 times this week. Or I know I'm fit, and I'm fit, I'm strong, I can run for 90 minutes, I can last 3 rounds, I can, whatever physicality of your sport is, you've put in the work. Logically, these things. Logically on paper, and obviously sport, we can, it's the beauty of sport, isn't it? Anyone can beat anyone on the day, but in theory, I'm better than this player or this team, we should win. So logically, we know these things. The trouble is, as I mentioned, our fight or flight response is built on our subconscious. It's a subconscious reaction. And our subconscious, the bit beneath the water, is actually what's running the show. So that bit above, beneath the water, we've got our memories, our past, our beliefs, our identity, our values, things that have happened before. When we last played that team or that player, that opponent, oh God, actually, yeah, it went really badly. Yeah, we played really badly, or I didn't do as well as I could, or oh God, I took that kick and I stuffed it up. It didn't do what it wanted, what I wanted it to do. And we have these sort of, they're not negative memories, but these sort of unhelpful memories that pop up. I mean, they're not unhelpful, because actually, as you'll see, that there's a learning from them. So we want to take the learning, but actually, unless we do, our subconscious just remembers the embarrassment, the disappointment, the shame, I let everyone down, I let my teammates down, my coach, I lost my spot, my parents were watching, they traveled all this way, all the supporters were there. So we have and it's these feelings that we have, it's actually what we remember. And it's often actually, because then when we do remember, actually we drill down, it's logically we know, well, actually it was just one kick. It was just one round. It was just one shot. It was just one thing. But we have these feelings, these emotions around it that just, they're not what we wanted or expected. So that's why the fight or flight response has kicked in. And then we take that forward with us. I think I went off on a bit of a tangent there. But yes, okay. So yes, I'll just get my notes again. So yes, the memories, past events, beliefs. So despite knowing it's just, so the logical mind is, that it's just one punch, one ball, one pass, that you've done a million times before, but suddenly your whole world depends on it. Oh my God, if I miss, we're going to lose the championship. We'll lose the match. I'll let everyone down. I'll lose this bout. You know, whatever it is. I've spent all that time and effort and I don't deserve to be here. Everyone else is so much better. Everyone will see, all these things which are irrational, but it doesn't matter if it's true or not because your subconscious is running the show. So it just goes with this slightly irrational set of beliefs and programs that we're running on. So, question is, what can you do? And where do you start? Because I'm sure that you guys have tried stuff before. And I know lots of people, often when they come to me, well, actually, often when people come see me, it's as a last resort, but often they've tried things like breathing, like focusing on the breathing, which is great, but actually, and that does last, and that is brilliant. That is a good one to be able to do, focus on your breathing. That's something that you can control. Obviously, with both your sports, they're both, and anyone else watching, a handful of people I've got, obviously we need to breathe, and obviously we need to be able to take deep breaths to get our oxygen to our muscles, to run, jump, whatever it is we're doing. So being able to control that breathing and because often when we're anxious, our breathing gets shallow because it's wanting to pump the blood faster to our arms and legs. But actually what we need is the, calm breathing. So the deep breathing is great, but sometimes that often only lasts for that 10 seconds or while you're doing it. Then you come back into the situation, into your environment, and it's, your heart's beating fast again, which you want as well. So again, getting that balance right. So you need, ideally, what you need to do is a combination of the conscious mind stuff, which is the rational thinking, which is things like, which I'll go into more detail in a minute. I don't know if you guys have got pen and paper already, but do feel free to get them. It's the expectations, how to consciously lower your anxiety, for example, and this will work for anxiety, feeling the pressure, performing well on performing as you do in match day as well as you do in practice, keeping you present in the moment, cutting out distractions. Sometimes the opposition have louder cheers than us, a bigger entourage. How do you block that out? Actually, it's really of putting, your supporters being there, or, it's easy to get distracted or not, wanting to perform really well in front of them. They've come to watch, what have you. So, managing your expectations, what to focus on as well. So, for example, of course, you want to play your best, not make any mistakes, score lots of goals, land lots of punches, make amazing passes. This is your kind of work, depending on your sport. What are your high expectations? And what you want to do is replace those high expectations, because we know that, like, don't focus on that, because of course you want all that. Like, we're not saying you don't want that, but match day, don't think about that. Just put that, I say just put that to the side for the moment and focus on what you need to do to achieve those high expectations. So, my sport's tennis. Actually, I play wheelchair tennis now, but so the equivalent of footwork is chair skills. So often in tennis, it's the first thing to go when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling nervous. Footwork is the first thing to go. So actually, to play really well, to make those great shots, to chase every ball down, to do all the things, you need to focus on your footwork. So what is it for your sport? What do you need to focus on to get that, to meet those high expectations? Is it footwork? Is it communication? Is it landing a punch? Is it just focusing on one shot at a time? And you can focus on it. The process could be a physical, could be a technical, could be a tactical, it could be a mental thing. There are all sorts of things that could keep that. It's not just one thing that makes you play great, is it? We mentioned those four corners before. It could be any one of those things. So focus on the process, focus on the things that help you reach those high expectations. So that keeps you in the present, and it takes your mind off that, oh my goodness, I want to win. I need to score lots of goals. So focusing on the process. So that's the thing that you can do in the actual, that's one thing that you can do within the actual game. Another thing that you can do within the game or outside of the game, because as I mentioned before, going into the game, match, whatever it is you're playing, confident, you want that to be stable. You want to, you know, regardless of who you're playing, regardless of how you're feeling, whether you're coming back from injury, whether you didn't train well this week, you had a bad night's sleep, all these things which are, real life. These are all things that happen sometimes, but you still go in there positive and confident. So instead of relying on, oh yeah, I'm feeling all right today, actually. Like, doesn't matter how you're feeling that day. Even if you're feeling really crap that day, you still go in full of self-belief. So there are so many ways you can do this. But what you can do is, one of the things I do with my athletes, is positive affirmations. Tell yourself, like, not just on the day, but all the time. And I don't know, maybe you do. But actually, I'm a great player. How often do you actually ever say that to yourself? Or I'm reserved, I'm determined, I play, I'm highly energized, I react well, I'm on fire, all these positive things that are really going to boost your confidence that you don't even need to believe in the beginning. You just that, I'm quick. I think quickly, I run fast, I'm light. I was working with someone this week. She wanted to, she didn't feel this at all. So the affirmations, I'm light in mind and body. And that worked for her in her sport. And she, constantly said that to herself, outside of the game. So in between training, in between matches. So you gently, even if you don't believe it at the beginning, or that's not, it's how you like to play, you're consciously saying it. So it starts off as conscious. So that's in that bit above that tip, above the ice, above the water, tip of the iceberg. But it eventually becomes second nature. And actually, it becomes part of your subconscious. So your subconscious mind believes, I'm light in mind and body. I am fast. I land, whatever, well, however it is you want to play. I'm on fire. I think quickly. I, react well. And it's always you always want to be it in the positive, not the I don't make mistakes, or I let go of mistakes easily, or you want it in the positive. Okay. So you're saying a positive statement to yourself. And then there are ways of building this into your kind of daily routine. So it just becomes second nature. And then, building your confidence resume, proactively building, totally thinking about all the good things you've done, all the positive things you've done, why you do deserve to be there. What's got you this far? All these positive things, so that actually they start becoming your natural belief instead of the nerves and that negative chatter that can come in. And again, it starts with your conscious mind. Like, you might not believe it at first, or you might think, oh yeah, you might not even remember these things. But once you start going through all the things that are going to build your confidence, and then having them on hand to look at, it builds those neural pathways, goes into your subconscious, into becoming more and more positive and confident. Sorry. Okay, now I'm going to address this one specifically because I think pretty much everyone mentioned this is the lowering your anxiety. Because this, okay, I'm going to say it's the most important, because it's our survival instinct. That fight, flight, freeze response is the one that takes over. It's the one that, regardless of what's going on, is always going to win, because your it's your survival instinct. It doesn't, it's there to protect you from that oncoming bus. It's always going to override everything. So the way to do that is techniques such as EFT tapping, which looks and sounds slightly odd and ridiculous, but it completely works. Not sure if you missed that, Johnny. That was EFT tapping, going into the subconscious. These are techniques that are actually going to lower your anxiety. And you can do these outside of your training. Because what something like the EFT tapping does is, and it does look and sound, when I first heard about it, I was actually nearly on the floor. My friend told me about it. I'd gone to her for some reflexology. Oh my God, I had to zip it. So I thought she was talking absolute BS. It was just ridiculous. I thought, how could something so ridiculous be so effective? Because basically you tap on the various points in your face, which are acupressure points. So it's a bit like acupuncture without the needles. You tap on these points while focusing on the issue that's causing you the anxiety. For example, your upcoming match, like, oh God, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. Oh, I can't feel my hands, my legs, all the symptoms, as it were. Okay. And then it actually stands for EFT stands for emotional freedom technique, because you're feeling this anxiety. And as you tap it, you get to address the feelings, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the past events, your beliefs that are contributing to this anxiety. Whether it was the last time you played them, you played really badly, you got thrashed, it was embarrassing, or maybe it was something your coach said to you 6 years ago. Oh, no, you're not very good at this shot, or you're not, or your school teacher said, oh, you're never going to make it. You're never going to amount to the amount of people who should not be teachers or coaches who I've heard say these sorts of things to their players, which, yeah, it's awful. The young people, anyway, but people carry this around with them. And whether it was your history teacher at school or your coach on the pitch or in the gym, like we still carry it around with us and read all sorts of things into it. And what that's their opinion. Anyway, I won't go off on that tangent. But anyway, we carry these things around, and so as you tap on them, what it does is the thing that's causing the anxiety, the tapping, what they found in research is, because it's based on Chinese medicine, that it lets the emotions flow. But what they found now in psychological studies is that it massively lowers your cortisol. So those stress hormones and neurotransmitters that are all released when you perceive that upcoming match, it lowers that cortisol level, that your cortisol and adrenaline. And you can get it to the point, because as I said before, you want some adrenaline, you want some cortisol because you're about to go out. You want that excitement, but you don't want the fear-based element side of it. So it massively lowers your cortisol. You get to reframe whatever it is in your subconscious that's contributing to these unhelpful thoughts and beliefs that are causing the anxiety. So then you let go of the anxiety, and it's like, oh, yeah, I am so up for this. That training, yeah, I'm fit. Yeah, so what? I didn't sleep well last night. So what if I lost last time? Now's my chance to show I'm well up for it this time. I've learned from that. I've trained better, I'm fitter, stronger, more experienced, all these things. We take the learning from it, because there's always a learning. We take the learning from it and use it to our advantage. So it actually propels us, and we use it to fuel our positive energy, positive excitement, instead of the, oh God, I'm feeling so nervous. And so I'll tell you a story. One of the footballers I worked with a couple of years ago, it was the first time I'd worked with this team. She was the goalkeeper. She was really young, actually. She was a teenager, 18. It was a cup game, playing a team in a lower league, went to a penalty shootout. It's the first game I'd gone to watch them in, and I was starting to work them. She was in goal. Penalties were being taken. She wasn't even moving. She literally, she had the freeze, the fight, flight, or freeze. She couldn't even move. And Anyway, she'd played fine during the match, but anyway, the pressure had just got to her. So we had some sessions that week. As I say, some, we had one. It was quite a long one, but anyway, we had a session. She was up for anything because she was going for a scholarship at American University as well, so needed to perform. She was wanting to create her YouTube videos so that she could get spotted and seen and what have you. So she was quite open to doing anything. Anyway, so we did the tapping on. Oh God, I couldn't even move, and she was very emotional afterwards as well. She felt she'd let herself down, the team down, everyone. She felt terrible about it. So we did this tapping. Turned out, and this often happens. It was actually nothing to do with the football. That week, her gran had gone into hospital, her dog had died, and she'd done 3 A levels. I mean, the whole thing was ridiculous. And then she had a cup game at the end of the week. But the point is, it doesn't, it was nothing to do with the football. But anyway, so we tapped on these things. At the end of it, she was like, oh, what just happened? I don't really know what happens, but I feel a bit different. We went out to the next match that next week. Oh my God, she absolutely flew. She was vocal. She was leading from the pitch. She should have been the captain that day. She got player of the match. We beat the team top of the league. We thrashed them 3-1. She, oh my gosh, and the saves she was making, she let go of all the baggage and she was just up for it. Like she was free. She'd let go of all the anxieties around it. Now that was a definite case of it worked really quickly. And obviously, well, actually we had a few more sessions after that because there's other things going on too. Whether it's another example was this guy who actually I'm working with really recently, single handicap golfer. He's handicap of 5, going for scratch. Oh my gosh, he is, yeah, perfectionist. Obviously, with that kind of sport, he'll do anything as well because he wants to perform. He wants to get scratch. He's got an upcoming tournament. He's doing the tapping and the other things as well, the positive affirmations, working on expectations. He's doing the whole thing. And yeah, he's down to 3 at the moment. So that's an ongoing process. He didn't just, well, actually he did. His next round was amazing, but just, I mean, it's not always just, there's layers of an onion, and you pull back the layers and you work through it. But when you do it, it's amazing. You really do get the results that you're after, and they come naturally. You kind of don't really have to try. Like on that pitch that day, or in that, wherever you are in that match that day, it just happens effortlessly. Like you don't have to consciously try. You're just subconsciously and naturally positive, playing with ease. Yeah, your body feels good. Okay. Any questions or thoughts, or how does this show up for you, or how could you apply it to you? Unmute yourself and chat, or do just type it. If
Yeah, no questions at the moment, but I tried it and it did feel relaxing. I can see why, and it makes sense basically. So I'm looking forward to learning a bit more, but no questions at the moment.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, I'm glad you tried it because it is and felt different because it's yeah, highly effective. Okay, so I mean, if you guys want to, we can. Um, okay, so there's ways you can do this. Um, you can either do it before. Literally, you do the work in between your trainings and practice and matches rather, and you can do it before you go out. I use it as part of a pre-game routine as well, and like on match day, because you can do all the work you want beforehand, but actually on match day as well, quite understandably, other nerves come up, other things come up. So yeah, so that's you can use it in between sessions, between matches. You can even use it during a game. I mean, depending on your sport and what your times, you're not going to stand there, doing a whole load of tapping. But You can use shortcuts. You can just even like, tap on your collarbone, whatever it is, just to ground you instead of the breathing, or as well as the deeper breathing. You can use it within the game. So it really does. Yeah, you can use it at any level, basically. Another tool that you can use between sessions, which is also incredibly powerful, are visualizations. So, and in fact, going back about 100 years, this is what I did my dissertation on. You're visualizing. If you visualize a positive outcome, I did it with serving. If you visualize your serve going in and where you want it to go, it's more likely it's going to happen than if you don't visualize at all, or if you think, oh God, it's going to go out, don't want to hit it out, don't want to hit it out, or don't want to miss this kick, don't want to miss the goal, don't want to, don't make the mistake, don't pass it too long. And if you think of the negative, actually you do the negative, because your mind doesn't hear the don't do it, it just hears the miss, hit it long, land don't, whatever the kind of negative prefix is, it doesn't hear the negative bit, it just hears the unwanted outcome. Like golfers, don't hit it in the water, don't hit it in the woods, don't miss. It just hears the miss, woods, water. So that's ultimately then where the ball ends up. And obviously for your sports, you can think of, I'm sure, what that comes into and how that shows up for your sport. So it's always think of the positive. But yes, so in the visualizations that you can do between the games, like literally, I mean, you might do this already, but when you're going to sleep at night, positively visualize your match, your overcoming the challenges, playing really well, visualizing the win. And yes, I said, don't focus on the win, but actually we do want to win. Of course, you want to focus on the win and what that feels like and what it feels like to overcome the challenges. So, what it feels like to make a mistake or to be tackled or to give the ball away, to miss a penalty, to be hit, whatever it is, but then you overcoming it, then, jumping up quickly, getting back up quickly, not holding back, really going for it, going for that one-on-one, whatever it is. So in the visualizations, going running through the game, but always focusing on a positive outcome and how you positively deal with what happens in a match. Things happen. You might come from behind, you might be losing, and how you turn it around. So it's always focusing on the positive. And then the more you do this, the more your subconscious takes it on as true. And yeah, Muhammad Ali, I'm the greatest. I mean, he would constantly say that to himself. So what happens? He was the greatest. Serena Williams, Venus Williams, the interviews from them when they were teeny tiny. Yeah, I'm going to win Wimbledon. I'm going to be the best player in the world. And the interviewers, the journalists saying, is that not a bit arrogant? No, it's going to happen. And like they're constantly telling themselves it's going to happen. So it happens. And obviously there's, and you do the things then to make it happen. It doesn't just miraculously happen, but you do the training, you do the physical stuff, you do the technical stuff, you do all the things that then enable you, put you in that position. Yeah. So, and then you don't give up when someone does beat you, when the game plan, for whatever reason, because you can't guarantee a win because you don't know what your opposition are going to do. All you can do is focus on the process. The main thing is to get you that win. You don't know what's going to happen on the day, what the opposition are going to do. They might pull an absolute blinder and they're just better on the day. I mean, that just happens, but it's how then, if you've got that determination, that will to win, which I'm sure you do, then you'll come back. You take the learning and you come back, you learn from it. What do I need to do differently? How do I need to get better? So it's just the positivity, and that takes practice. Yeah. Okay. So would you guys like, because okay, so we've got about 10 minutes. Now, would you guys like to do some tapping on anything now? Are either of you doing anything this weekend in terms of your sport? We can do like a little taster session of what it's like. I know, Johnny, you mentioned you've already done some, but doing it with someone is a different experience. Because what you do with the tapping, which whether you did this or not, I don't know, but you focus on the unwanted. You focus on the so-called negative, not the being positive. Not the I want to play really well. I want to land my punches. I want to pass the ball well. Like we know that. We want to when you do the tapping, you focus on the what's stopping you. It's like, well, I feel really nervous. Or my arms are heavy, my legs are like lead weight, my feet are like lead weight, whatever it is.
Yeah, that
Um,
would sound good to go through it. Yeah, because yeah, I didn't even go through that process, and I'd already started to feel a bit better.
oh,
So yeah,
brilliant.
yeah. So yeah, I'd be
Okay,
definitely up for that.
wicked. And is that all right with you, Emiliano? If I'm sure you're still there, hopefully you are.
Oh, that was me.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, no, I thought you were Johnny. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. All righty. Well, look, do you want to let me give me a few words to when you're so what kind of how do you experience your anxiety when you're feeling anxious before getting up?
Uh, I think I just start really focusing on what could go wrong. I feel my chest get really heavy, arms and legs really heavy, dry mouth, and um, that was the question, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, dry mouth, what could go wrong?
yeah.
Um, dry mouth. What else did you say?
Just heavy arms and legs and heavier chest.
Arms and legs, heavy
But yeah,
chest.
even like I can't. If I get too anxious, I can't even focus on actually doing the sport or performing the action right. It's like I'm not even thinking. I'm addressing it. I'm saying I'm not doing it right, but then I'm not actually able to grow through the process of addressing it.
Yeah, yeah. No, this is, and you know what, this is, so from what you're saying, this is exactly the symptoms of the stress response. So, for example, focusing on what could go wrong. So this is brings on the anxiety. So dry mouth, now when, that's digestion because saliva in your mouth, that's getting ready for food and digestion. So the dry mouth, you're not producing the enzymes to break food down. So that's your digestion closing down because now's not the time to be digesting food. You know, whether it's is it boxing? Did I get that right? What's your sport, Miliano?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is. Thank you. Yeah, I thought as much. Um, yeah, so now's not the time to be, focusing on food. Whether it's a boxing match or an oncoming bus, you know, you're not digesting food. Arms and legs go heavy because all the blood is being pumped there, getting ready for fight or flight. But yeah, a bit too much. By the sounds of it, like they're too heavy. There's too much going on there. Can't think, you can't even, you're too anxious to even think straight because your blood isn't going, now's not the time to be thinking. Your blood isn't going to your prefrontal cortex, which is where your rational decision making, logical thinking takes place. You haven't got time for that. So it's not going there. It's going to your arms and legs, ready for fight or flight, whether it's a boxing match, oncoming bus. So these are really typical symptoms, as it were, for the fight or flight response. Um, and even as you're talking about it now, are you feeling it? Are you feeling it now?
Yeah, I guess when I was talking about it, it definitely made me more tense.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
give that a number. For if 0 is none and 10 is like full on the worst it could be.
As in right now, or you
Oh,
mean when
yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Or when you
performing?
thought about it a moment ago when you were talking about it.
So even talking about it made me start feeling like a, let's say, 6. So I'm feeling anxious, even just talking about those emotions that I had. at that
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds about right. Well, not that there's any right or wrong, but
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay. And I'm guessing when it actually comes to the day, it's higher.
Yeah, so I've had it where it's 10, but I've also had it where it's like 8. But yeah, I've definitely had it at 10.
Yeah. Okay. So what we would do here is, and Johnny, if you're here as well, you can tap on this because also the beauty of it is doing it in a group like this is actually it doesn't matter um if it's you or not. The group, like your subconscious will relate to the same things, even if it's not exactly the same symptoms, as it were. Your subconscious will join the dots, and so you'll still get a benefit from it, which is why I love tapping, because regardless, I'll be tapping too with on Emiliana's bits here, but and obviously I'm not a boxer, um, but it will still affect me. It will still help my cortisol anxiety come down as well. And likewise, Johnny or any others watching the replay. So what I'll do is copy me, and then if you're okay doing this, and just repeat, and we'll just do a quick one here, really. Repeat after me what I say, and you can either do it out loud or in your head, whatever you feel comfortable doing, whatever's suitable for wherever you are. I'm right-handed, so I use my right hand and tap on my left, but either is fine. And it's just that bit there between your little knuckle, wrist bone and little knuckle, like that, just as if you were doing a karate chop, that karate chop point. And you just state how you're feeling. Now, this is, we don't want to brush how you're feeling under the carpet. It's really important because this is how you're feeling. And this is why this is a great tool for everything, not just sport, but in life. Okay. So, so okay, so I'm just going to say what you told me. So even though, I focus on what could go wrong. I get dry mouth. My arms and legs feel heavy. So does my chest. I feel so anxious. So anxious on match day. But that's okay. And we're saying that's okay, not because it's how we want to feel, but that's okay. That's how you feel. So we say this 2 more times. So even though I feel really anxious on match day, I get heavy arms and legs and chest. I feel so anxious, I can't even do the things I need to do. But that's okay. And last time, even though I get really anxious on match day, I get so anxious. I can't move my arms and legs the way I want to. They feel really heavy. And actually, I'm feeling it now, just talking about it. But I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Okay. And then we tap through the points. So, yeah, got my glasses on, but that's okay. So, the eyebrow point, just where your eyebrow meets your nose, feel really anxious. Inside the eye, get really anxious. Under the eye, really anxious. Under the nose, on match day. On your chin, feel really anxious. Collarbone, really anxious. Under your arm, really anxious. Top of your head, on match day. Then we just keep going round. So we'll do one more round, and then, well, anyway, so I'm feeling really anxious. Feeling it now. Feeling anxious. What could go wrong? What if I mess up? What if I lose? What could go wrong? What can go wrong? And obviously you would know more about what goes wrong or what could go wrong, sorry. I'm going to keep tapping on this actually because my anxiety, well, not actually nerves, like doing this, like this this masterclass, not nerves like this kind of anxiety, but just adrenaline, excitement. Oh, not having met either of you two before, recording it, making sure I was recording it, other people watching, just natural anticipatory excitement as opposed to full-on panic attack. But actually I'm feeling it's quite nice doing this tapping because that's why I was talking extra fast as well. That's why I have my notes, because otherwise I'll talk all bloody day. Okay, so feeling anxious, feeling it now, top of the head, all these things that could go wrong. I've put all this training in. I should be able to do it. But I can't. I might not be able to. And if I can't do it, that means, and then you can fill in the blank, I'm not very good. My coach was right. I shouldn't be here. I should have waited another 6 months. Fill in the blank. What is it? What does it mean if it does go wrong, if you lose? Feeling it now. Feeling it now. And then you would go around doing this. And in fact, you'll all get the recording. So what you can do is you can press pause on this and keep tapping around the other thoughts and feelings that are going through your head. The symptoms that you're feeling on my heavy arms. I can feel my chest beating really hard. I can't think straight. My mouth is dry. And then you tap on them until that passes, until actually, it doesn't need to have disappeared completely, but till something's shifted. Okay, just until you're not really feeling it anymore. And then you go on to the more positive. So let's go on to the more positive. So something shifted. Maybe it's okay to take these nerves and use them as fuel for excitement. I was feeling nervous, but maybe it's because I'm excited to see how I do. I can let go of those nerves, let go of that fear. It's not helpful. It's not helping me. And let that go. Because when I let that go, I can be me. Play my game. Fight my way. Because I've done the work. I've put the hours in. It's my moment to let that all go. Be myself. See what happens. Put everything in. That's all I can do. Letting go of the nerves, the expectations, the fear. Seeing what I can do instead. Seeing how well I can play. How well I can fight. Okay, then you take a deep breath in. And if you notice, I was able then to take a really deep, quite a deep breath in. And that's because obviously I'm not about to go out and fight, but actually I'm feeling a whole lot more relaxed and just a bit easier. How about you guys? How was that for you, Emiliano? How did you go with that?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. There was a moment where the transition between how long do I focus on the negativity, because it did get to a point where I was like, I started feeling, I felt really relaxed, and then I started feeling anxious again. And then when you brought in the positivity, I felt super relaxed because I was able to go back to how I felt at the optimum level for the at the start of the EFT, um,
Yeah.
and especially right at the end, circling back to, you know, focusing on that I have actually trained hard. So stating all the things I'm worried about are also the things that I actually have done right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so the thing is with the you felt relaxed and then actually the anxiety came in again. So it's a bit less like that layers. So imagine, okay, so in fact, this is the tabletop. Imagine this is the performance anxiety, and we've got different aspects propping it up. So maybe one is, oh, I'm going to make this up, lack of training. One of them is lost last time I fought them, or I've only had one fight before, or not sleeping well, or my teacher told me I was useless, or hopefully they didn't, but you just kind of making things up here. But that these are all the different aspects that are propping up this layer of performance anxiety. So potentially, and also the symptoms, the dry mouth, heavy arms, heavy legs, heart pumping. The we get rid of one aspect, but you've still got the other aspects there. Yeah, so you haven't actually you've dealt with like one aspect of it, and that's great. But there are still the other ones there. So you kind of you don't actually need to work through all of them because imagine it, some of them are bigger than others. Some of them are propping up this tabletop more. So you get rid of the big ones, and then eventually the tabletop just collapses. Um, you don't need to work through all of them, but there'll be the anxiety potentially reappeared because although you dealt with some aspect of it, there's still something in there. And that was literally just a 2 minute tapping. Normally, when I tap with people, we have an hour session. And then probably half an hour, 45 at a time. Because what you do is say, oh, actually, you know what? And I might say, what does that remind you of? Oh, that reminds me of 5 years ago, and this happened. And it might seem totally unrelated, but you're in your subconscious here because the way to get to your subconscious is by the feeling very relaxed, like that hypnotic trance state. That's kind of what you're in when you're tapping. And then your subconscious joins the dots and goes to those thoughts, feelings, memories, that have been buried away in your subconscious. And it it joins the dots. You collapse those, you change, you refile that, all those thoughts and beliefs and memories. What's contributing to that anxiety. You take that out of the equation, and that's when it lasts for the long run. Um, but we didn't really deal with anything like that. We just did the superficial level. And that's then which is brilliant. And then when you focus on the positive at the end, yes. And it kind of, it just takes that critical layer of critical thinking out of the way, like that negative thinking, sorry. So yes, of course I've done the training. Um, so we're still partly logical mind here, but we're kind of in and out of subconscious. Um, I'm not sure I answered your question. Did that help?
Yeah, no, no, no. I do get it. I do get it.
Yeah. So the secret is with like any training, like physical training, technical training, tactical training. You don't just do it once. Like you don't do one bicep curl and think, oh, there we go, I'm done. I'm not suggesting you do think that, but you just mean like you do it. Like you do it, maybe not the same bicep curl, but you do the training every day. Yeah, or whatever your training program is. It's built up over years. So again, with the mental training, it's consistency, and then you will get to all the. It's not just do it once. It's you build it into your weekly training routine, and and it doesn't need to be hours. Like the one-to-one session when I work with people, it's an hour at a time. generally 45 minutes to an hour. But when you're doing it on your own, it could be, as you're brushing your teeth, as you're waiting for the kettle to boil. You could have the positive affirmations stuck on your, I don't know if you go to work or whatever you do, you're stuck in your folder in your wallet on the back of your phone, or reminders on phone is another thing I get people to do. So it pops up as a reminder.
Sorry, so it's not something that you could really overdo. It could be something that every time you're feeling nervous, you just go for it, go
Yeah,
through the process.
absolutely. When you do it, okay, so when you do it, so I'll tell you about the way I do it. And again, if it's your I'm not, again, you can do it. I'm not expecting anyone to, or doing a heavy sales pitch here. But when you do it, when I work with people, so for example, we work together for a month. When you do this tapping and the hypnosis as well, you hypnosis too, in these sessions and in your own time, what happens is because you deal with the root cause of the anxiety, like whatever it is that's contributing to that anxiety, actually, because you deal with it at a subconscious level, you don't need you. Of course, you might get the pre-match, nerves on the day, but you don't get the same level of anxiety. So you don't need to tap all the time, because the beauty of it's not like this is why I work with people for a month, and sometimes it's 2 months and maybe a top-up session at some point, but it's not just a never-ending, oh, you need to keep coming back forever, because you deal with the subconscious issues. So actually those issues that are driving the anxiety or the whatever it is, they don't drive that anxiety anymore. You don't have that same level of anxiety. You really do reprogram your subconscious mind for playing however you choose, however it is you want to play. So we set the goal. So we identify what your issues are. You set the goals for how you want to play. We deal with all the things that are in the way, like the negativity, the anxiety, the things that could go wrong, and the root cause of those things. And it's not necessarily a linear curve, bit like you just experienced. It can be a bit bumpy, but it does generally just get better and better. You have the tools then at your disposal to use. Like I record visualizations for you, you have affirmations, you have a progress, a journey, you just mean a pathway, a proper pathway to follow. Plus you have the conscious mind stuff. And I don't know if either of you two or any of the others watching the replay got the expectations workbook that I was giving as a just a sort of freebie to help you manage those expectations. So you do the conscious mind work, what to focus on instead of the big outcome. So you've actually got processes in place. You know consciously what it is you're supposed to be doing, and then you practice it. So it then just becomes second nature. So it's a whole conscious mind, subconscious mind package that actually you then take with you. So you don't, yeah, so it gets easier and easier, basically.
I
I don't
completely, yeah,
generally work with people that long, because when you work with the subconscious, you don't need to. Yeah, it might be, like I said, it might be top-up sessions just because, oh, there's an upcoming tournament or what have you, and that's great. But you have these resources to use at your own disposal. So yeah, yes, did that answer your question?
that definitely answered the question. I see, because it's pretty much, yeah, use it as much as you need until obviously the goal is to not have to use it. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Brill. And Johnny, did how did you get on, or did you have any thoughts or questions? No problem if not, just
Yeah, hi Kate. Sorry, I've been in and out with dodgy Wi-Fi, but yeah, sort of came at the end there with the tapping stuff, which was really good. So that worked a lot, and the stuff that Emiliano was sharing before, like sort of resonated with me a little bit about kind of some aspects. And it's also as well the talking about expectations and sort of not letting people down and stuff. So the team that I play for at the moment, I've been there for 20 years from as a mini through to a man now. So yeah, so it's got that tie of feeling like I have to perform for people. So yeah, so it's a really cool technique that and funnily enough, I've actually got a game this afternoon, so I can pretty much put it straight into action.
Oh, wicked. Yeah, yeah, do. And yeah, do feel free to message if you want to, or email. Let us know how you get on. That'd be great to hear. Or if you've got any more any questions about it, do yeah, just pop them across. But yeah,
Yeah,
excellent. Oh, good. And look, and yes, you'll both get the recording if you don't need to watch it again, but if you wanted to, or just forward it to the bits that are useful. Um, and then yes, if either of you did want to take it further and did want to do the one-to-one, which is it does just help you get to the parts of your brain that we automatically protect ourselves from. So, because we don't want to address them because I'm not going to say they're always really painful, but actually we don't want to go to oh, that's really embarrassing that happened, or oh God, I did that and it, let someone down, or whatever it is. When you do it with a practitioner, and I say me, but actually it could be someone else, you do just get to go to places where you naturally won't go because you don't want to address them. And in you guys' situations, being new to this, you don't know where to go. Like you don't know it's relevant. You might think, oh, that's a random thought, but actually it's not random. So yeah, so I can send you details of that, and yeah, then you've got it. And whether it's now or in the future or not at all, you've got it there anyway. Yeah.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. Yeah, that sounds brilliant. Because yeah, as you led on to that, even before as we're going through why I'm feeling nervous, those doors start to open up, and immediately I'm like, okay, let's not think about that. But yeah, of course you got to address it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it makes
No,
sense.
yeah. Oh, good. And also, and the beauty of the tapping is you're in a safe space to do it because it does keep your cortisol levels low. So you don't have to relive anything that's painful or horrible. Just mean, and to go
Yeah,
to the exact, a complete polar end of, I use it with, or have used it in the past, and it's highly effective, which with PTSD. So war veterans use this technique, you know, after, the horrific things they've been through and witnessed and experienced, and they use it. And we can't compare it obviously to, I don't know if either of you two have been to war. I certainly haven't. But anyway, it's used for PTSD because it helps you go to places and deal with things that are very painful, but it helps you deal with them in a safe way. Yeah. And equally, your subconscious will never let you do or say anything that it doesn't want to do. So you don't have to ever be nervous like, oh God, what's going to come up? Because actually, if it's too bad and you really don't, you're not ready to address it, that's more to the point, then it doesn't just pop up. Okay, so it really is very safe, and very effective, which is why I love it, despite how ridiculous it looks. But yeah,
no,
um,
yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been brilliant.
wicked. Oh, good. All righty then. Well, look, I'll let you guys go. Good luck this afternoon, Johnny. And
thank you.
anyway, when's your next fight or
So the
training?
season will be start probably in October,
Oh,
is what
okay.
I'd say. Yeah, but I won't be doing I won't be getting any nerves for sparring for another 2 weeks, basically. I'm just having a little medical suspension, basically, just having a little rest for my head. But yeah, it's part of the sport. It happens.
Oh, I've got like
Yeah,
literally
yeah, I
rest of
got
your
punched in the back of the head. Yeah, so I'm
Oh,
not having any sparring for a bit.
no,
Yeah,
no,
I take
no,
that
no.
stuff that
Yeah,
that that
quite.
stuff's serious. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
despite other coaches, other mentalities, but yeah, I definitely know that it's the right way to do it.
Good.
Yeah,
No, absolutely. It's yeah, head blows to the head aren't good. And I'm sure Johnny is a rugby player. It's you get blows here and there as well. So
yeah, definitely would.
Yeah, that's why I play tennis.
Yeah, the tennis ball can hurt as well.
Yeah, it does. I got one the other day, my bloody right there on my throat.
Yeah, exactly that.
That's when
But
my
yeah, no,
wheelchair skills went out the window. Yeah.
I'll definitely be asking for more details and like how that would work. Because yeah, definitely,
Well,
even if I'm not doing it this month, let's say, I know that this is something that will definitely help. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, good. Excellent. All righty. Well, look, lovely to meet you both. And anyone watching the replay, do join, do send me messages or what have you, with any questions. And yeah, well, look, yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. And yeah, I'll see you and be in touch soon, or be in touch with me. Yeah, whichever.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I'll
Cool.
definitely message you today to ask about things. So yeah,
Wicked.
brilliant. Thank you, Kate. Have a lovely
Perfect.
weekend.
Thanks very
And
much.
nice meeting you, Johnny. Take
Yeah,
care.
take care. Thank you. All right,
Bye.
See you
cheers.
guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye
Bye.
now.